Hello and welcome to part 2 of this tutorial series. In this part you will learn how to set up your console for speedrunning and practicing Hollow Knight in an efficient way. That includes setting up multiple user profiles, how to use save files, as well as taking a look at the in-game settings, followed by a brief introduction on the requirements for submitting your run to the official speedrun.com leaderboard. First off, we're gonna start with the setup of your console. It is generally recommended to play on a monitor instead of a TV. Should you play on a big TV, check if it has a game mode available. If yes, switch it to have that active. It will reduce the input lag and make the game feel more snappy. Also, be sure to disable any post-processing you might have active on your TV. It is absolutely recommended to practice in the mode that you plan to do runs in, to not develop bad muscle memory, be that docked or handheld mode. For now, let's switch over to the live console view so I can show you the optimal console and in-game settings. So here we are in the Switch home menu. The first thing you want to do is check if your game is saved to the system memory or an SD card. If you have it saved to an SD card, you want to move it to the system memory since the loads will be faster. I can quickly show you how to do that. You just have to navigate over to the system settings, go to data management, and then move data between console micro SD card. So here you can check where it is saved. You want to move stuff to the system memory. My game is already saved to the system memory, so it does not pop up in that list. If your game is saved to an SD card, it will pop up here, and then you can just mark it like that and select move data and wait for the game to move over to the system memory. Alright, so we're back to the home menu now, and the next thing you want to check out is how to create multiple user profiles so we can take advantage of more save slots. Let's just theoretically go over if I wanted to add another user. I could again navigate to system settings, check user, add user, and create new user. It's important to note that you do not need to connect a Nintendo ID to create a new user profile on your Switch. So you can basically almost add infinite users. We're playing a Metroidvania, so let's choose Samus, stick with that, and press OK. Can do that later, don't need to do that. And if we go back, we can see that we now have an additional user. And with an additional user comes 4 additional save slots for us to have practice files for. Alright, so we're going to boot up the game. As you can see, my game is booting in English now. If you are familiar with speedrunning, you will probably know that the choice of language is the first thing you can do to optimize your time. So if we go here to the options menu, we can choose our preferred speedrunning language for Hollow Knight. Go over to the game settings. So now we're sitting at English. Press left once, that's German. Press left another time, and then we're sitting at Chinese. Go back and our main menu will look like that. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'll switch the game language back to English. We can check out my save files now. Save slot 1 is my casual playthrough file. Very handy. All the abilities unlocked, like movement abilities, spells, all charms, dream gate. Super comfortable for moving around fast if you want to check out some places, practice movement. Second file is my Steel Soul playthrough file. Also very handy. I use this one to practice fireball, skips, and explosion pogo. I will show you that in a later video. And the third and fourth files are files I specifically created for practicing all skills. First one being the City of Tears practice file. I just played through the route until I reached the point of City of Tears, just so that my in-game loadout was reflecting the loadout of the actual run, which is a very important thing to keep in mind. The fourth one is my Crystal Peaks practice file. So the last time I used this, I used it to practice the dog room, but you can also just practice the very cycle heavy movement in Crystal Peaks. I can quickly show you some of my other profiles, like this one here, my HK1 profile. So since I do my runs on this profile, you will see that the first slot is empty. This is the one I use for actual attempts. Since it's the quickest one to access, you can just mash A on quit outs and it will be very fast. You don't have to go through the trouble of navigating to the one you want to choose. The other files are taken up by, again, practice files, like City of Tears practice. I use this one to practice Watcher Knights and the Isma skips. Full playthrough file, again, at the end of the All Skills route. This one is for accurate Hollow Knight fight practice. Also very, very handy. And another Teacher's Archives practice file that I use for practicing Great Slash Movement, Howling Wraiths Arena, Umu boss fight, Dark Deep Nest. Yeah, I can quickly load into this one. One thing to keep in mind if you do practice bosses with a save file is that you quit to the home menu after you defeated the boss. If you quit to the main menu after you defeated the boss will stay defeated. So you need to quit to the main menu. I guess I can showcase that right now. Okay, so that was a very scuffed Umu 1 cycle, but what you want to do now is quit to the main menu, as I said, close the game, and load back into the game. This way the boss will still be available for us to fight. If you quit to the main menu of the game after you defeated the boss will stay dead and you will not be able to practice it. I will just quickly go over to prove to you that the boss is still alive. Okay, so we're at the boss arena again, and as you can see, Umu's still down there. The fight will start. So we can practice this fight over and over again with the save file. But yeah, that should be it for the introduction part of how to use save files. I will go a little more in depth and show you how to specifically practice some parts. If you want me to showcase some parts, feel free to leave a comment below and I will try my best to post a video on that. But for now, let's just switch over back to our fancy little layout. Alright, so there's two more things I want to talk to you about. First thing is that you can use a software like Livesplit to keep track of your time during a run. I can show you that right here. These are my splits I use for all skills. A video will be linked in the description that will show you how to set that up. Since there's enough resources, I don't think I need to do another one to throw that out there. And the other thing is, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I want to talk to you about the requirements to submit your run to speedrun.com. There's a few requirements you have to meet. You can read the detailed rules on the website itself, but I just want to quickly go over the most important ones. So if you want to submit your run to speedrun.com, you need to make sure that the game is clearly visible. You do not need a capture card. You can also film it with your phone, for example. Just make sure that the game is clearly visible. The game audio needs to be audible. The in-game music, however, is not required. So if you want to listen to something else, you can just turn that down. Just the game audio, the audio effects need to be audible. A visible timer is also not required, and you need to make sure that you show the title screen at the beginning of the run so that the patch number can be clearly read by the verifiers, just to make their time a little easier, since they do all this work for free, only get the respect and nothing else. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I guess I can thank you again for watching. The next part will be covering the fireball skips and how I go about practicing them. And I guess have a good time and hopefully see you then.